Next question is for Dr. Cathy Pratt. And this came from a dad from Mississippi. And he's asked, my son has autism and significant verbal and social issues. I was very happy with his elementary school program, where he received great speech and other services, and we felt a member of a team with the teachers and administrators. In middle school, it seemed they began taking those services away, and the meager amounts he received were a result of yearly, costly battles with the school district. He is now in high school, and he's being prepared for nothing, in my opinion. It seems as though one of the problems with adult services today is that it has created a perfect storm of inheriting the failures of all the previous systems. What needs to be done to ensure that every individual with autism is adequately prepared to live a life of quality and self-determination? These are all easy questions.
And you want that answered in 30 words or less? Well, I think that question has, again, a lot of different aspects. One is that I think that we have worked harder in the area of early intervention and elementary programming, and historically have forgotten that kids grow up and go to middle school and high school, which by their very nature are more complex settings for kids because kids are not with a teacher, they're moving across from class to class. The other thing that is a challenge is that we have this law called No Child Left Behind. It actually it doesn't exist anymore, but it's now the Elementary and Secondary Education Act, and it's basically the same thing. And what this law has said to teachers is that your primary role is to make sure that children pass standardized tests of achievement, or they pass their statewide test of achievement. And what that has done is that's kind of hamstrung the creativity at the secondary level of many teachers. And for those of you who have heard me speak before, I very strongly feel that we are not successful necessarily if a child leaves high school and they pass their statewide test of achievement. I feel as educators we are successful if we meet a child at the age of 25 and they're employed and they are successful. And our education has become so focused on accountability that we've kind of lost focus of really what is important for our children to know and learn. I would suggest, and as a college instructor, raise your hand if I'm right about this, how many of you took a college course that you never needed? Okay, there you go. Okay, raise your hand. How many of you remember 100% of what you learned in high school? 75%? 50%? How many of you don't remember high school because it was the 70s? I'm with you. And so I think that, teaching at a college and university, I have to tell you that it's interesting because even as I'm teaching at a university, I go, because I'm in schools during the day and then in the evenings teaching at a university going, okay, this is what the textbook says, but this is really what's going to happen. So I think this is an invitation also for parents to really seriously think about the transition planning process. Federally, it begins at 16. In individual states, for example, in Indiana, transition planning begins at the age of 14. And it really is a process where you have to start thinking about what are the options in the community, what are the skills that my child is going to need. You need to address guardianship issues. And I think that what happens is that as you go through schools, oftentimes there's a disconnect between what children learn in elementary school and what they need in middle school, between what they learn in middle school and what they need in high school. And I know definitely that there is a disconnect between what children learn in high school and what they need to be successful in college. And so somehow we have to make that connection a little bit better. And so, I tell high school teachers, come to the university and see that the most important skill at a university is not how to open your locker. Okay, we don't have lockers. We have tattoo places. We have body piercing places, so it's making good choices. The two most important skills for your children going to college are this, is to be able to understand and articulate about their disability so that they are able to advocate for themselves, and two is to truly understand the kind of learning supports they need. and social supports. Those are the things you need to be looking at. So I think we have got to make these systems kind of run better together and always helping families to look towards the future. And I'm going to challenge you. I know some of you have children who are 5 or 6 or 7 or whatever. I want you to look at your child behaviorally and socially and academically, not as if they're 5 or 6 or 7, but as if they are 30, and prepare them for the future that way.